welcome to this video. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, but I want to go through the costs of doing my garage conversion, a concrete panelled garage, into a billiards, pool or snooker room area. So it was a concrete panelled garage which are quite damp, so you need to insulate it properly. And I've got a list here of how much everything cost me, so hopefully this will give you a rundown and an idea of what they cost, and also I'll put links in the description box so you can obviously buy these items directly yourself to do your own conversion. Just a quick note, I'm not affiliated to anyone on Amazon or eBay, so I won't make any money from this at all. I just want to make that clear, because my videos are to help you guys out there, not for me to make any money. Anyway, let's get down to what I bought. So I originally saw a blog online on how to attach battens to the concrete panels, and to do that you need to get some Compton garage lining clips. Now you get 12 in a pack. 2 packs are £50. Got them off eBay. They seemed quite expensive, so I got some flat bracket mending plates, which was half the price, double the quantity, for £24 a pack, which you got 20 in, and that seemed better value for me, so I got 2 packs. Then I needed some Celotex insulation board, which is very important. You get insulation board. It has the silver backing on the front and back to obviously reflect cold and insulate heat as well. So I went for the 40mm thick stuff at £17 each, 25 sheets, 2.4 metres long by 1.2 metres wide. That cost me £475. £50 delivery is included in that. I also got some polystyrene boards for the floors, about £50 that cost me. And I also got some XPS floor underlay boards, which are blue, for £100 to put on top of the polystyrene for the flooring, because I need to make sure the floor is insulated. It's quite important now, because you get a lot of cold coming up through the floor. So plywood, very important. This very expensive as well. Plywood 12mm, same size as the insulation bars at 2.4 metres by 1.2. 17 of them, £30 each, so that's £510. I also needed some plywood that was same size but 18mm thick for the floor, £150 that cost. Then I needed my wood to do the battens on the walls, so I went for Sawn kiln dried wood, C16, 45 by 70 by 2.4 metres. You can obviously use other types of wood if you want it to be treated, and that was £334. Tapes, gaffer tapes and aluminium tape, you know, to seal the roof with the insulation board, join them together. That cost me £20. Then I need some expanding foam. You'll use a lot of expanding foam when you're doing this, just to fill all the gaps in. So I used Everbuild expanding foam, which is reasonably priced and it's quite decent stuff. 500mm cans, I got 20 of those, so about £180 there. A foam gun, which is quite important. If you're doing a lot of foaming, it's a good idea to have a gun to do it rather than using the supplied plastic nozzles that they give you. £20 for that. Floor levelling compound, 25kg bags, £128 for about 8 of those. What happened was the floor levelling compound, because it was cold, cracked, so I had to pull it all up. So I decided to put concrete and gravel down instead. That was around £100 to do that. So, you know, it's a mistake I made, but you know, when you're doing these conversions you do make mistakes, so you've got to allow for that. Everbuild silicone, 20 tubes, £60 for that. You use a lot of silicone if you want to join up areas and fill in gaps. A caulk gun that I needed, that was £15. Screws and bolts, you use a lot of screws, especially a lot of bolts, especially when you're putting the brackets on. You know, the thing is with concrete panel garages is they're joined together with grooves. The bolts are just for added extra security. You don't necessarily need them in reality because the structure is quite sound. But the bolts are there for peace of mind, I suppose, and extra security. And what you do is you attach your brackets to the bolts. But you'll need a lot of bolts, you know, to fit your battens on the walls going up and vertically. I needed an electrician to do the wiring, obviously, for the power boxes and the lighting. So I got someone who did it for £300, and that was quite cheap. If you don't know someone in the electrician's world, you could possibly spend twice that. Obviously I got some electric sockets and switches, about £100 for that. Light fittings, about £150 for that. In terms of, I've got my pool table light, my main fitting light, and the switches, obviously, and some extra LED neon lights, you know, further down the garage. And then tools. There's a lot of tools you have to buy for doing various things, such as sanding belts, grinders, drills, that sort of thing. The only thing I want to give you a bit of advice on is don't go for the cheap manufacturers, because they won't last 2 minutes. Go for the main brands like DeWalt, Bosch, you know, Black & Decker. Go for decent quality stuff that'll last. I know it's more expensive, more money. Sometimes it can be double the price, but trust me, it pays to get the good quality stuff. Maybe not, you might not realise it in this job, but when you're doing another job, or say you get a job as a tradesman, those tools will serve you well. So I spent about approximately £250 in tools. You know, obviously drills, grinders, belt sanders. It came quite handy having a belt sander for sanding the floor. Very important to make sure it's level. So that's just the materials really that I've bought, and I'll put a lot of links in the description box for you guys, so you can buy them if you want to. But I spent approximately £3,116. That's a rough guide. I probably spent a bit more than that, but I've still yet to finish the garage as well. I've got to do the front door and put in a side door. So I probably estimate it's probably worth £100 to £1,500 in terms of extra work to be done. And then the installation of the side door, I'd probably say about £500. That's what I've been quoted by the garage company. So if we were to round it off, maybe £4,500 to get that done. And then I bought a pool table, obviously £500 on top of that. That brings it pretty much close to £5,000, doesn't it? And then obviously you've got all your accessories. Obviously I did buy a carpet as well on top of that, so that was about £120 I think. So if we round it off, a maximum of £5,500 to convert the entire garage. I think that gives you a rough idea of how much it probably will cost you at the end of your project. You may have a few friends that can help you out, or may have, but this is materials. You just can't escape the fact that doing a conversion in your concrete panel garage is going to be expensive, folks. There's no way of getting around it really. If you want to do a conversion, you want to have a nice pool or snooker table in your garage so you can play at your convenience, or whether you want to have an office or a playroom for your kids. It will be expensive to convert it, but it's worth it in the end. You know, at the end of the day, you'll have somewhere you can chill out, play a few games, relax, or maybe do some work away from family and the kids and the rat race, and just have some me time, I suppose. I suppose this is why people do this really, because they want to create their own space, a place where they can gather their thoughts, de-stress, relax. They might want to create a gym or a workroom somewhere where they can just relax away from everyone. So I just hope that's helpful. As I said, I'll put links for all the things I've discussed here in the description box. If there's anything else I think of, I'll put it in the description box for you to have a look at. But I do urge you to watch all the garage conversion videos that I've done, especially see the final one that I did, so you get an idea of what it looks like. But it is challenging. You do spend a lot of time. I spent about a year, because obviously I've got a full-time job as well, where obviously I'm just trying to get a few hours here, a few hours there to do bits of work as I go. But I think once you've got it finished, you'll have a bit of pride in what you've achieved. And that's what it's all about, you know, having a bit of pride in yourself that you've achieved something that, you know, you didn't think you could do. And to all the naysayers out there, where there's a will, there's a way. You know, if you've got motivation, you can achieve anything. And I hope this video and the other videos I've done to create this, you know, living area, this playroom, has inspired you to create something. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.